Hello everyone, this is Shinobi, once again with another Awaken Chaos Era video. So today, we are going to look at what I consider to be the top 10 epic heroes available in Awaken Chaos Era. So that is based on where I am using them, their utility, their ease of availability, and their ease of ascending them. Based on various other factors, I have just prepared what I consider to be a tier list of epic heroes that I am using, right? But before we move on to the video, I would request my viewers to like my video, share it if possible, but of course, subscribe to my channel. It encourages me in making more videos and gets me closer to that monetization requirement of YouTube. So let's move on ahead and look at the epic heroes that I think are really good. Okay, so the number 10 of my tier list would be a battle between Vance and Antinua and Luna Melissa. So these are the three heroes you can think about, but early game, mid game, I used to use a lot of Vance and of course my Antinua. There are very good speed teams for Queen of Tides where Antinua is being used. You cannot use Vance a lot in dungeons, but you certainly can use him in I have used him in dungeons as well. I've used him in Queen of Tides 12, in Tulpa 12. I've used him quite extensively when I did not have other heroes like Natalia for Queen of Tides, when I did not get her, when I was able to build up Vance, because Vance is a synthesizable hero. I had used him quite a lot. Luna Melissa being a light epic is much more difficult to get, but yeah, because she's still an epic, you are bound to get her, but it's very difficult to get her. But you can only use her in areas where you require CC, and Antinua is something that you want to use where you want to like do massive DPS on a boss. That's where you use Antinua, but to get Antinua to that kind of status, very difficult, and that's why I kept her sidelined and I used to use Vance. And therefore between those three people, I prefer Vance because he's much more easier to build and he has got his own good utility, and I used to use him extensively in Void Tower Hard. Okay, I can finish off Void Tower Hard using Vance without any problem. Yeah, of course, that was before the rune mark became a kind of temporarily permanent rune mark. But now that in February, the rune marks are going to change, Vance is going to come back into play, and he's going to help you a lot in finishing off your Void Tower Hard. But you don't have to build him to 70, you can keep him at 60, and because he's a synthesizable hero, he has got a lot of potential to help you out in reaching the area that you want to get, like finishing off Void Tower Hard, getting to Queen of Tides 12, all those stuff. You can easily use him to get there, right? So that's my number 10 as far as the epics are concerned. My number 9 is Edicris. When he was introduced to the game, when I was new to the game, Edicris was nothing. Nobody used to use him, and then he got a buff, and that buff was like he was buffed up so heavily that they had to actually nerf him back again. But then he still continues to be one of a terror in Void Tower Hard and Bounty Hunt. You must have seen my video from a previous video, Bounty Hunt stage 52, where he just keeps on hitting you and he removes your buff and he comes back and hits you. That's what Edicris is. Really good in Void Tower Hard, excellent in Arena, in various other stages within the game. If you're in Arena, if you're in Void Tower Hard, Edicris is really good. Okay, it's absolutely a brilliant game with brilliant hero with very unique skill sets, and helps you in clearing a lot of stuff, but not in dungeons. Okay, in dungeons, unless you give him a stun set, maybe you can use him to do it up to 12, stage 12 and all, but later on I don't think you'll be able to use him very well. But I have taken him to 70 because I use him in Void Tower Hard, and I also use him in Arena, and I also want to finish off like RTA or any other GVE or such areas, I can really use him up. And so you do not have to build him to 70. You can keep him at 60 and you still will be able to finish off Void Tower hard without any problem using Edicris. But his unique skill sets of removing buffs and then getting a bonus turn makes him an excellent candidate for stun set, for the rebel set, and he's like going to stun everybody. And you should see, when you're doing Void Tower hard, his skill is really fabulous. So I kept him at 9 because he's only limited in use. You cannot use him in dungeons, and so yeah, I kept him at 9. Then my number 8 would be Baron. Okay, now Baron, she is a pretty new hero. Okay, she's pretty new, and her use is basically, a lot of her use is for adventure, clearing waves, and for arena. But she has got really good hitting power. She's got a clearing capacity, and so I have kept her at 8. Even though I would prefer, it's a toss-up between her and Edicris. I can push Edicris to 8 because I do not use Baron as much as I use Edicris. Edicris must be much more higher than that, but then I think like Edicris must be higher than her, but still I kept her there because if you build her right, she's going to be like really powerful. Okay, that's the only thing that is required. So as far as I'm concerned, I would keep away from building her early stage. When I get good enough gear, like I have really powerful gear set with me, then I would be giving those to her and use her in end game. Okay, not at the beginning stages. Then number 7 is Hitoshi, and I put him at number 7 because for an early game player, even up to end game, clearing up waves, clearing up adventure stages makes it much more easier using Hitoshi. You can give him massive amount of crit damage as he requires only 70% crit rate, and you can give him really good attack stats so that he can simply go in, keep clearing waves, deal massive amount of AoE damage or single target damage, whichever skill is being used, and you can clear up waves. So his utility early and mid game is much more higher, even though at the end game Edicris is much preferable than Hitoshi. Okay, when you're clearing up certain specific areas, Edicris is much more better, but Hitoshi helps you out at the starting stages, and that's why I kept him up at 7, and because of his wave clearing capability, and because you are able to build him into a damage kind of potential. The damage potential of his can be easily built up, and that's why I kept him at 7. In number 6, I use Hakrin. Okay, Hakrin was my favorite hero before the Hell stages came in. He is absolutely fabulous. A synthesizable hero, readily available. All of his ascension can be done freely. Of course, you have to save for it, you have to work for it, but at least you do not have to buy him out. Okay, so he is like an easily accessible hero with a very good skill set. He will increase your defense passively. He will also give you max HP, and he can also taunt. All these benefits of his makes him really good. Up to Queen of Tide 12, up to Queen of Ash 12, even Witch of the Wind 12, a combination of a healer and Hakrin would make it so much easier for you to clear those dungeons. Not that it is going to be faster, no, it's not going to be faster, but at least you will be able to clear it consistently 100% time. And that's only because of Hakrin. So before I had some good heroes, I used to use Hakrin, Rodira, Natalia, or some other heroes like a Santis to clear off my Queen of Tides. So my first team would be was, because Hitoshi was not there at that time, it was Hakrin, Rodira, Zatlix, and Santis. That's what I used to clear Queen of Tides 12. But without him, it was not possible for me, as I did not have any early game gear, such strong gear with me. I just gave him a lot of defense, and he increased the defense of everybody, and I was able to survive. So that's how good he is. But his utility comes down when you go to Hell stages, because at Hell stages you do not need that at this moment, because if you try to tank, you're going to die. So at this moment, we do not have that kind of a tank team per se for health stages, but at the same time, if you are making a tank team, you still can use him to make that tank team a really good one. Okay, so that's number 6 for me, Hakrin. And if you have him, if you want to progress further and get to higher level, and you can take him to 60. You don't have to take him to 70. Don't look at my heroes and say that all your heroes are 70. Don't think about that. Okay, the only people you want to take to 70, I'll tell you, but until now I'm only saying that you have to only take up to number 6. All these number 6 guys, you only have to take up to 60, and they'll still give you the best result out of their skills. Okay, so number 5 is Winstrix. Okay, I shouldn't be I should be showing you Winstrix. Okay, so I'm not using Winstrix nowadays because I've got Halia with me, but even if you have Halia, Winstrix is a lot better in certain areas. In certain areas, Halia is better, but even at end game, you can still use her, and that's why she is number 5 for me as far as epics are concerned. She'll increase your speed, give you attack up, even be able to reduce the cooldown of your skills, and that makes her really good. Speed teams, Winstrix teams, you don't have the speed gears with you. So sorry, which other win team, if you do not have enough speed gear, you use her to increase your speed. If you do not have speed in any of the dungeon, you use her to increase your speed and then go in and be able to move before the boss does, and you'll be able to win. In arena, yes, you use her. So she is like for early game people, mid game people, she is a she's a must-have kind of hero. But don't take her more than 50 or 60. Like I've got her to 60. If you want to keep her at 50, that's fine. As long as you're able to ascend her and open up her trade, it's great. Okay, so you just have to ensure that her trade is open up, because that will give you on each ability cast is 100% chance to reduce the ability's cooldown by 1 turn up to 2 times per battle. Okay, so she's not really good in the guild boss, because it can only happen twice per battle, but in other areas, you can actually use her to bring down that cooldown, but use her extensively to buff your heroes up. In Void Tower, especially in Void Tower Hard, when you do not have that kind of a gear where you can get enough speed for you to go before the waves go, you use her to do that. So that's what she is used for. So then you can concentrate more on your damage and not about your speed, right? So that's why you can use Winstrix. I use her in certain areas. In certain areas, I use Halia. I have bought both my Halia and Winstrix at 60. Don't have to take them more than that, but if you want to take them more than that, you'll gain more speed, and so you can certainly be able to go faster if you want to do that, unless that is if you want to spend those resources for it. Now my number 4 epic hero, and that's going to be my Santis. Okay, she was a must-have for the dungeons. Except Tulpa, for all other dungeons, she was a must-have before the hell stages came through. She was a must-have, and she's still a must for Gemini Dragon Hell Stage 4. That is Gemini Dragon Stage 16. She still is a must-have hero. Okay, so if you have her, just use her. Build her up. Okay, you don't have to take her to 60 unless you're going for Gemini Dragon 16. Sorry, you don't have to take her to 70 unless you're going for Gemini Dragon 16. Even there, you don't have to take her to 70. I'm using an errant team that just relies on speed and on accuracy. So if you take her to 60, that should be sufficient. That should be sufficient for her. You just have to give her that kind of a gear to take her to that accuracy, to that speed. But she's naturally fast as well. So if you look at her base speed, she's got 133 speed at level 70. So if you want to make her faster, she's very easy to speed up. It's very easy to make her very fast, and that's one of the reasons why she became so good at the early stages, right? So that's why I would say that if you want to finish off your dungeons faster if you want to like finish off Gemini 12, Witch of the Wind 12, Queen of Tide 12, Ash Magister 12. You need to build her. Until you get your better heroes, you need to build her. Take her to 60 and she will help you out in all these areas. Her utility is so massive in early and mid game that you will never regret building her up. Never regret her. Because you can always use her. And even if her utility gets finished, once you are able to do hell stages, you can still get that utility out of her when you are reaching Gemini Dragon 16. Right? Okay. So my number 3 hero, epic hero, is Jonathan. Now you would say, no, there are other heroes that can be useful. Well, this is what I'm using, okay? He's the one that I'm using in, if I want to build a consistent slow team, I can use Jonathan in Queen of Tides, Witch of the Wind, and in Ash Magister. In Void Tower Hard, in Void Tower Hard, even in Arena in a tank team, Jonathan is fabulous. You know his trait. He'll place shield when someone does an AoE on you. As soon as you get an AoE hit, he places a shield out there. Queen of Tides, you get a shield. He's got an AoE that actually places defense down and attack down on everybody. On absolutely everybody. Awesome skill. And his A1, his basic, it's got an unhealable for 2 turns. Seriously, he is a fabulous hero that anybody and everybody can build and never regret to have built him. You can use him in a lot of areas without any problem, and he's tanky. He is not very fast, but yeah, he can be, you can make him fast enough, but he's very tanky. You give him a revival set, give him a lot of HP, and you just are able to use him almost in all areas within the game. And so for me, I use him in a lot of areas, and so for me, Jonathan is a number 3 for me. Number 2 for me is, of course, MSB. She's the only light dark hero that I'll bring out here. Very difficult to get because she's light dark. She's an epic hero, but easier to get compared to a legendary hero. But she is really awesome. One of the only heroes who can deal, like max HP damage, and her ultimate true damage equals 8% of their max health is a lot. Okay, it's above all other heroes. So you don't have to actually give her a lot of damage per se. If you are able to give her a lot of damage, that's good. That's really good. But if you're not able to give her a lot of damage, that's fine. You can still get a lot of damage out of her. When I say give her a lot of damage, I mean if you're not able to give her a lot of attack, a lot of crit damage, that's still fine. She's able to deal a lot of damage just by her max health. A very good hero to be used in Guild Boss, in Witch of the Wind, in Ash Magisteria, not in Ash Magisteria, in Queen of Tides. In Queen of Tide teams, one of my videos are there in which we are doing Hell Stage 15 and 16 using her in Queen of Tides. In early stages, Gemini Dragon, you can use her, and Void Tower Hard. In Bounty Hunt stage, you can use her in a lot of areas because she has got her own healing. Her trade also allows her to, join someone else to make a joint attack, dealing her basic use her basic to deal the damage, which also deals a damage equal to 3% of the enemy's max health. So basically, she is a really cool hero to use throughout the game in a lot of areas, even though I would say that she should be placed less than Jonathan, but because I'm using her to deal more damage, and because she's able to joint attack along with your hero, you're able to deal a lot of damage. So the joint attack obviously is based between the speed difference between her and the other allies. So the more the speed difference, she's got more chance to do the joint attack, and that means that if you have got other 3 allies attacking someone, she has got the chance to join them to attack the other person. So that unique kind of a skill set makes a really good epic, right? So for as a damage dealer, she is really good. My number 1 hero, obviously, as everybody knows, is Natalia. I did not get Natalia for the first 2 months when I started playing this game. I've been playing this game for like more than a year now. Okay, I started in 2021 December, and I didn't get her. I did not get Natalia for the first 2 months, and I was like stressed out. Oh my gosh, why am I not getting my Natalia? When am I going to get my Natalia? And when I got her, I was like ecstatic. I'm like, okay, this is great. This is awesome. Now I can start dealing damage. Her damage output is simply out of the world. She deals damage more than most of the Legos. So if you get her, she is one of those first heroes that you have to take to 70. Yeah, I'm saying you have to take to 70. One of those first heroes. A beautiful, awesome wave clearer. The only problem is that you have to give her buffs to do that. So she is the she requires a guard set. So after I got my Natalia, I was going after my Gemini Dragon dungeon just to give her those gear, to build her up, to give her the guard set in order for me to, you know, deal more damage, right? So you have to give her some a kind of like the a proper gear set to get her to deal damage. But there is an alternative for it. I got my brand, that is my normal brand, not the you know, light dark brand, just the normal fire affinity brand, much before I got my Natalia. And so I just had to place my brand along with her, and he would be placing some his shield, and that's what allowed me to deal damage until I got a guard set, a proper good guard set to place on my Natalia, right? So now she is a must-have for me. So I use her almost every place, arena, be it farming, adventure, be it dungeons, be it Void Tower Hard. She's the one who clears all the waves in Void Tower Hard. So she is the best epic that is there as of now. I wish there were other epics or other legendaries who can match her. I shouldn't say legendaries. Legendary would be absolutely difficult to get. But I wish there were other epics that could match her skill, her damage. There are no one. Okay, when it comes to AoE kind of damage, even though she's not an AoE hero, her hits are not counted as AoE, and that's why average set is not good on her. But at the same time, to clear off the entire mob, entire wave, she's the one that is there, and nobody can match her skill on that. And she is the absolute best damage dealer out there as far as epics are concerned. And therefore, for me, she is always number 1. She was always number 1 for me, right from the beginning, and she is still number 1 for me, and she will remain number 1 for me until I see someone who can, you know, actually deal more damage than her. So yeah, so that's the top 10 epic as far as I'm concerned, as far as I'm using, right? Let me know what kind of epics you have, what you think about the epics that you are using, whether you think the tier list that I gave is not good enough, or maybe you have some other opinion of yours. Post that in the comments. Let me know as far as you have seen in all my videos. Any comments that you post will always get replied to. Your opinions will be taken into consideration. I will always respect your opinion, and I will certainly not hesitate to tell you my opinions on what I think is the situation, right? So yeah, so let me know. Please do like my videos, share my videos, and of course subscribe to my channel. So until next time, peace, love, and blessings to all of you. Bye.